Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. This is Renegades React, and we will be reacting to a video. And that video is everything wrong with Man of Steel in 8 minutes or less.
All right. This was released 2 years ago. This was pretty earlier on in CinemaSins. You know, I guarantee if they released this now, it'd be like 15 to 20 minutes, maybe. I don't know. But 8 minutes back then, that's a long time.
Sure.
Because they tore apart Twilight in like 6 minutes.
They still bash Twilight. Everyone still bashes Twilight.
It will never stop being bashed. I mean, honestly, there's certain films that are so bad that they're good. No, that's a film that's just so bad. It's just a perennial black hole of just suck. That's it.
But
so
important to mention, this is very relevant right now because there's a little movie that is a continuation of this coming out, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. A couple of you may have heard about it.
Starring Batfleck.
Yeah, it's going to
have...
have...
Well, actually, I shouldn't call him that anymore. He is Batman now. Yeah. Because when I saw that last trailer, I was just like, whoa.
You know, I'm pretty convinced. I was really worried.
I was too.
Because, well, of course, I was left with the comparison of, like, you know, Daredevil and now the Netflix Daredevil. It's just like, whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
You know, so now...
Jeez.
But now, well, of course, that was, I don't think people really understood and took seriously superhero movies.
No, they didn't. You see, Mark Steven Johnson had his idea of a good Daredevil movie, and his director's cut I think is a lot better. But it's still a broken film because the studio had their hands in too deep.
I mean, there are some things that I did enjoy about it.
Oh yeah,
honestly, I thought the Kingpin was pretty good.
I
Michael
really Clark Duncan was killer.
I love Michael Clark Duncan as a Kingpin.
Yeah, and also I thought they got married later on. The chemistry between Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner was really good. Yeah, I mean Ben Affleck as Matt Murdock. There were some parts, there were flashes of something really good, and then Elektra, I really wish they would have played Elektra closer than she was in the comics.
Sure. Versus,
she's this rich girl who gets in over her head.
We just got to stop talking about this because all I want to do is run home and finish watching season 2 of Daredevil.
Okay. So, all right.
I'm on episode 7.
I've already finished it. I marathoned. I did not sleep. The night it was released, I did not sleep. I was up and I went all the way through. And by the time when I was over, it was like 7 a.m. and I was just like...
Super good. Okay, all right. Yeah. Reaction starts now.
It does.
DC Comics, 56 seconds of logos. Helpful 3D model tells us, yep, there's a baby in there. And it doesn't look like this baby's in any position to be born right now.
Yeah, that's not...
No,
it's John Carter of
Krypton.
Never
good.
It's just beneath the central hub, sir.
Carla Gugino is heard and not seen.
Yeah.
I guess since it's a movie taking place on a fictional foreign planet, we're not allowed to question how the flying bug thing knew where Jor-El would come out of the structure, or how it knew that he'd be forced at the last second to make the decision to jump.
Destroy it!
Zod was in perfect position to stop Jor-El from doing this, but just didn't. Can he not call out for the rest of the troops he left on the platform to come help him overpower Jor-El and stop this launch? Hey, 15 minutes in, are we still on Krypton?
Yep.
Yes?
I will find him.
Okay, whatever you say.
I will find him.
Got it.
I will find him,
Dude!
Get it.
I will find him!
Damn it!
For fuck's sake, how did these elaborate
I think that last one was probably enough.
Sneak past the director,
the penis.
the
Yeah, the penis rockets.
I totally forgot about that.
Finally. Diane Lane isn't my wife in this scene.
What was I supposed to do? Just let him die?
Fortunately, Clark gets a lot better at letting people die by the end of the movie. Lowering this heavy vessel into the barn basement must have required the help of a few friends, right? This can't be a total secret, can it?
I took it to a metallurgist in Kansas State. He said whatever it was made from didn't even exist on the periodic table.
And that metallurgist was wowed and amazed by the finding and told none of his colleagues.
And when that day comes,
that's because he killed him.
Choice of whether to stand proud in front of the human race
like you should have let those kids
die. The time that you do this, however, can't be when I'm about to die in a tornado. Just make sure it's not then. Would simply escorting this dude out of the bar be proof that alien life exists on Earth? Nope, this is a much easier explanation. Also, how did Clark do this in secret? No one heard it or saw it.
I was gonna say, you walk out and that's like that.
Yeah,
that's a little bit more than like just
a character tells audience.
I was going to say if he like ripped the engine out, that'd have been more.
And
did
Clark decide to wait until the day some reporter woman shows up to go snooping? The way they had him unloading bags at the helicopter made it seem like this wasn't his first day. But if it is his first day, then we have a sin of convenience here, because it just so happens to be Lois Lane's first day on the site as well. Clark's super hearing was so strong as a child he had to lock himself in a closet, but he can't hear any sign that Lois is following him in this otherwise completely empty cave.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
I'm handsome, see?
To see you standing
He's pretty
there
handsome.
grown into an adult.
Okay, if you want to have
Henry
Jor-El show
Cavill.
up through some magical space technology,
I've
that's
got a
okay.
gripe. I'll
But
say it
why is
after.
he saying things like, to see you standing there having grown into an adult, as though he's actually there?
It mimics his
Seeing Clark.
personality.
I mean,
Yeah.
at least explain something. Toss me some techno-babble or something.
If only Lara could have witnessed this.
Wouldn't his mom like to be able to use his
No,
technology
right?
too?
Yeah.
Also, way to undercut the power of the dead father cliche by basically letting Jor-El
Actually,
live through this
in the
avatar,
animated
interact
series, they
with
had
Clark,
both
guide him,
him
and
and
generally
the
be a
wife.
normal father
And-
for the rest of the movie.
And his
What
mother.
if a child dreamed of becoming something other than what society had intended for him or her?
Isn't that the exact plot of Gattaca?
You were
Yes,
the
it
embodiment
is.
of that belief, Cal. Krypton's first natural birth in centuries.
And isn't that the exact plot of Children of Men? Of all
Yes.
the worthless things this movie wastes time showing us, there can't be like a 3-second explanation as to how the Superman suit got into this ancient scout ship? Superman is a dick to herds.
Looking for Pete Ross. Do you know him?
Yeah, he works at the IHOP.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't know the quiet, introverted, commonly named Pete Ross in this town?
I figured if I turned over enough stones, you'd eventually find me.
I wonder how many times Lois said that line before she was finally right that Superman was behind her.
I don't even know why I'm listening to you. You're not my dad.
You're not my dad cliche.
Oh,
Apparently no other strong winds accompany this huge tornado. Also, this seems to be a crazy sunny day for a tornado to form.
Head to the car!
On the Great
I'll get him,
Plains,
I'll get
that's
him.
not
No,
nothing.
no.
Yet
That's not
another
anything
situation where Clark could
strange.
easily have done something and the explanation would not immediately turn to aliens.
Get your mom to the overpass.
While you're under the overpass, tell your mother about the Venturi effect. Then get your mom to someplace
Yeah,
other than the
Venturi
overpass.
effect.
Talk to the hand, Clark. Let a still in his prime and by all indications healthy man die in peace already. Wasn't Clark just at his dad's grave? Is that not the same place as his boyhood home? Why did he have to hitch a ride on a LexCorp truck from one side of Smallville to the other? Did you just want to
Couldn't
squeeze
he
in
have
a
just-
Lex Luthor
oh, wait.
Easter egg? This movie has more flashbacks than Memento. These high school kids went all the way out to the truck and tractor repair shop to pick on Clark.
How did you find your way to Earth?
We managed to retrofit the Phantom projector into a hyperdrive.
The details of how you make something from nothing are not important. Zod takes Lois prisoner for reasons unknown, but fortunately she has that key thingy that Superman gave her so she can kickstart the plot again.
The command key, Miss Lane.
How does Jor-El know who Lois is? Even if he somehow tapped into the ship's mainframe already, does Zod's crew seem like the kind of people who program the names of each worthless human prisoner they take aboard into the computer? Or is this projection of Jor-El's consciousness also able
I
to
never
read
thought
minds?
about that.
No.
Honestly, what's the point of even having him die in this story again? Well, I guess
I
it
am
couldn't be a superhero movie without
Jesus.
some Jesus
I
imagery and
am
music,
Jesus.
could it? See,
That's-
this is now
that's the
IHOP.
whole
This is a
thing.
Superman for a new
Every
generation, sponsored
time.
by all your parents' favorite
Ugh.
brands.
The craft he arrived in. Where is it?
I did think.
Oh,
I
come
mean,
on.
the
Martha's better
the
than
effects
this,
in
right?
this movie did look really
She
good.
might as well have said,
They
hey,
did,
check
yeah.
the barn.
Well, I was
Sure,
going to
you've got the
say,
powers, you might as well use them,
those
even when
suits
completely
look
unnecessary.
a whole lot like the
Wait,
power
I
armor
thought
from
years of
Fallout
soaking
4.
in Earth's sun gave Superman his powers, as explicitly stated in the movie. But Zod and his crew are able to jump and fly all around like they've been living on Earth as long as Clark has. No citizens of Smallville were harmed in the making of this scene. Somehow. Do they know that all
I
this
call
throwing each
bullshit.
other into buildings is useless? Or do they just like destroying buildings?
The terraforming.
Okay, so later we find out Zod wants to make this a new Krypton because...
So we can suffer through years of pain trying to adapt like your son has?
But who cares? You'd all be better, stronger, faster than before. And these are mostly babies we're talking about here. If Kal-El could do it, then surely everyone else can. Zod learns to focus the cacophony of sounds and sights that come with superpowers in about 3 seconds, which is significantly less time than it took Clark.
Yeah, I
Why
called
metal
bullshit
pin
on
impression
that.
thingies to create snaky, snappy claws? Why not, oh, I don't know, anything else?
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we're
That was
Only
pretty
now?
useless.
Apparently Superman can overcome the weakness of the Kryptonian atmosphere if he just concentrates enough. After
I
Zod
mean-
blows up 2 ships with no problem, he then goes through a much longer process
in
order
the
to shoot
comics,
down
I mean,
this
his
aircraft.
powers are pretty
And of
much
course allow
limitless. They
Superman to
just
stop
like
him.
Yeah.
Here's
Whoa.
more overuse of the Wilhelm scream. Is this supposed to be a funny death?
A good death is its own reward.
And then she just stands there letting this happen. Why is Lois falling when everything else is getting sucked into the black hole? And then Superman has to fly with all his might to make sure she doesn't get sucked into the black hole. This doesn't make any sense. There are heavy rocks and debris getting
that's-
sucked into
yeah,
that
that's
thing,
also
and
true.
Lois falls
Yeah.
like
That's
she's
true.
heavier than all of them. But I guess there had to be a way for Superman to save the day that didn't require reversing the Earth's time or some stupid shit like that.
Yeah, that was...
Superman conveniently drops off Lois right at the exact spot where Perry and the other Daily Planet people ended up. Well, this isn't like the Matrix Revolutions at all. Ah, shit. There goes HBO again. There's no freaking way Lois got here that fast. She was standing with the Daily Planet crew all the way over here, remember? In fact, it's probably impossible she even knows they landed here. Superman really had no choice here if he wanted to save those humans. I mean, it's not like he could have just gouged out Zod's eyes, or merely paralyzed him by breaking his spine, or thrown him across the room and kept fighting the fight he was winning, or used his ice breath power he somehow didn't discover in this movie to freeze Zod's heat ray, or even Zod himself. Also, after throwing each other into countless buildings and taking the fight into space and crushing satellites, Superman somehow ends it with a neck snap. Metropolis wasn't built in a day, but it was fixed in a
I was okay with that ending.
Okay, yeah,
Neck snapping.
Yeah. Whenever the Wilhelm scream is used, it has to be used right. Because if it isn't, it detracts, especially in a serious movie like this.
This was a pretty dark movie.
Conceived in chambers such as this.
There are fields now. Endless fields. Where human beings are no longer born. We are grown.
Yes.
When?
Now, prisoner 24601, your time is up and your parole's begun.
Really?
You know what that means.
Can you imagine how people on this planet would react if they knew there was someone like this out there?
You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged.
Yeah, that's again with the Matrix.
Oh. Oh man.
Okay, so first off, for me, the movie was a bit of a letdown. A lot of, and it's nothing huge that really stands out to me. It's the little things. It's the little things that detracted from the story enough to just sat me out of it. And also the unfocused camera sometimes of Zack Snyder, which I love Zack Snyder. I loved his work in 300. I loved his interpretation of Watchmen and how he filmed it. But damn,
I wasn't super pumped going into the movie. I thought it was very watchable. I'm not a big Superman fan. It's hard for me to connect with the Superman stuff because it's just
I'm the same way.
What really bothered me, because there's some things I did like about it. Because I did like the idea of this sort of this pre-programmed society, and he was this natural birth, this sort of individualist narrative.
Yeah.
I appreciated that.
Yeah, I like that as well.
And the whole thing with the Jonathan Kent tornado thing is just it was so completely unnecessary. I feel like the death of Jonathan Kent has to be really.
It has to be more poetic than that. I mean,
because honestly, I really liked what they did in Smallville.
Oh yeah.
They handled that really well because where he was under the influence of red kryptonite, Jonathan Kent temporarily got powers from Jor-El's avatar to bring him back home, and that was what gave him the heart condition that eventually killed him.
Yeah.
And so Clark always carried that guilt around.
Of course.
So I thought that was really cool.
And you see the guilt in this Okay, first off, Kevin Costner and Diane Lane casting in this was a really good casting.
Oh yeah,
choice.
Absolutely.
Because Kevin Costner, he's a wholesome. His character portrayal of a father is wholesome and is down to earth. He is pretty much the all-American father. He'll go play catch with you and all this and all that. But what gets me is, you see, they started out so well with the trailers. You see, the movie trailers painted such a beautiful narrative. It was him and Clark talking, saying, does this mean I'm not? It's like, you're the answer, son, to are we alone in the universe? Does this mean I'm not your son? Of course you're my son. And gives him a hug, and it's just like reassuring, I raised you, you are my son. Yeah. And you see, that painted such a beautiful narrative. I almost cried during that trailer. And just to see how the relationship between Clark Kent and Jonathan Kent played out in this, I mean, random tornado, which I'll be honest, it's the Great Plains in Kansas, and plus sunshine during a tornado like that, not that hard to believe. I mean, honestly, but the way Jonathan Kent went out was not as poetic as it should have been. I mean, it was shocking, dying in a tornado,
right.
What an epic way to go out. But Jonathan Kent isn't supposed to be epic. He's supposed to be this down-to-earth human that Clark just has this guilt weighing on him the whole time. And I can see that, how the guilt would weigh on him, him not being able to save him from the tornado. But at the same time, it's a situation where Clark would have to show off his powers versus something like a heart attack taking him away.
Right.
Which he could do nothing about. That, to me, is more challenging to overcome than him being put in a situation like that and you having the ability to do it, but him not doing it. You see, it makes the whole thing too confusing. It throws a whole lot of stuff into the laundry that just doesn't go in the right direction. And don't get me wrong, I love Kevin Costner. Henry Cavill, I think, did a good job playing Superman as well. I think he's the best since Christopher Reeves. I think so. I mean, Brandon Routh, don't get me wrong, but that was an art house version of Superman. I'm sorry.
I mean, there are merits to Superman Returns, but yeah, I think, and I do like the direction they're going with this. Marvel does have a pretty good sense of humor with their movies, but these, it's a little bit darker. It's pretty gritty.
Yeah, the humor in this is more dark. I get what you mean by that. Also, okay, here's another thing too. Henry Cavill is English. He's British. Christian Bale is British. He's English. Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield, they're both English. And they're both playing like true blue American superheroes. I get on a message board one time and someone mentions an American portraying a British Doctor Who. Going over to the UK and portraying Doctor Who.
It's like the Joker scene. Mention American playing Doctor Who and everyone loses their mind.
Exactly. It's unbelievable. It is an unbelievable double standard. I mean, honestly, the closest an American has ever come to, like in the modern era, come to playing a hero in English lore is friggin' Renee Zellweger in Bridget Jones' Diary. That's the closest we got, and she killed. She almost won an Oscar for that. I mean, honestly, guys, what is wrong? I mean, honestly, is it just such a taboo that Americans can only play Americans, whereas everyone else can play an American because Americans are so easy to read? I mean, honestly, we're not all a bunch of meatheads that you can just predict.
Bless his heart, I love Andrew Lincoln, but his accent on The Walking Dead, no one in the South sounds like that.
No.
I mean, he sounds amazing. Like, I wish I sounded like that, but nobody sounds like that.
His intensity is unrivaled, and I think that's what won him the part because, Rick Grimes in the comic is an intense individual, and to make that come to life on the screen is really good. But at the same time, it's just like, the accent. It's just like Gerard Butler. I can hear through his accent sometimes whenever he's in like American films.
Yes, but it's glorious, so I don't mind.
Honestly, his Scottish accent is fantastic. I mean, honestly, he could come in talking like this all the time, and I'll be like, "I will follow you to hell, sir. Go right ahead. Go right out the door. Here's an AK-47, sir." But you see, that's a whole other thing I could yak on for day and night.
It is funny to note though, this movie has been the source of the most intense argument I've ever had with one of my buddies because he was like he broke Zod's neck, he can't do that, he's Superman. And I was like, I actually like that they did that because I mean,
it put him in a no-win situation.
Right, and here's the thing. He's like, well, he could have gouged out his eyes or he could have broken his back to paralyze him or something. Here's the thing. Kryptonians, you expose them to sunlight, they're going to heal from everything. Yeah. His eyes will regenerate. His legs will heal, really just straight out killing him. Okay. Which even still, he could potentially regenerate from, a disconnected brainstem. We don't know.
Well, as Caleb's put it time and time again,
so,
Zod lives.
Yep, Zod lives.
May very well live. But I want to know why the hell those people didn't run away. They had room to run away. I guess they were just too frightened of, laser beam eyes.
I mean, it's like two dudes like fall through the ceiling after half the city's been blown up, and they start shooting laser out of their eyes, and you just like clinch up and panic. I don't know. What can you say?
I can't speak as though I know what it's like to be in that situation. I know exactly what I do. No, hell no, I don't know. But stupid civilians always make stupid decisions.
Sure.
And it often causes a foil for heroes to save them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which that's typical superhero fate.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with Superman is he's so strong that everyone is like, just by the fact that they are vulnerable to anything almost makes them like a victim compared to Superman. So
and okay, I'll say it. Superman, not my favorite comic book character, but at the same time, I respect the writing to a certain degree. An alien from another planet where his alter ego of Clark Kent is his costume, whereas Superman is who he is. Mm-hmm. I like that. I mean, that's a rare one, and it was really the first to do it. I mean, and it was really, you think about the Progenitor comic books, and also, at the beginning, every time they do a DC Comics one,
mm-hmm.
They always send every time they say DC Comics. You know why that is? Because you know what DC stands for?
Detective Comics.
Yeah. So, Detective Comics.
Oh, right. That's like saying PIN number. Personal identification number.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, man, that's going to bother me for everything now.
Exactly.
I'm gonna be in the theater and DC Comics is gonna pop up and I'm just gonna scream and throw my seat cushion at somebody. I'm just gonna rip it off.
It just needs to be DC, damn it. Or Detective, or maybe they should just spell it out. DC, Detective Comics.
But see, then I'll probably say something like unnecessary redundancy, and then someone else will tackle me like, "How dare you?" Because a redundancy would be.
Don't censor me. This must be told.
Oh man. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's got it for this episode. We appreciate you coming along on this ride with us. Tell us what you think. And of course, as always, please check the description for our related content. Of course, down below, unless YouTube does something really weird, and hopefully
they
not.
Flip-flop it again like they did a few years ago.
I mean, sometimes YouTube drinks. It has happened in the past.
Let's put it up here. No, down here.
Anyway, hopefully we will see you all very soon. Thank you. See you later.